Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Ashmit Kumar and here are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. US President Trump says that he expects America's 25% tariffs on automobile, pharma and semiconductor imports will begin in April. Tells Fox News that it's unfair that Elon Musk has to build a factory in India to avoid tariffs. Reiterates that he has made it clear to the Prime Minister that India will not be spared from reciprocal tariffs. Tesla is likely to drive into India as early as April. Sources say the company is considering importing electric vehicles from Berlin and has already identified showroom locations in Mumbai's BKC and Delhi's AeroCity. Sources add that while Tesla has not committed to manufacturing in India yet, it is likely to source components worth $1 billion in 2025. Yet another volatile session on the Lal Street ends with marginal losses for the Sensex and Nifty, but financial mid-caps and small-caps bucked the downtrend with a sharp rally. Former SBI Chairman Dinesh Khara will lead a 7-member panel to review the proposed changes to the Insurance Act and suggest a framework for implementation. Finance Ministry has proposed various amendments, including a hike on the FDI limit to 100%. MobiKwik co-founders bullish on growth in India say that AI can help reduce cost and improve efficiency. Also flag regulatory hurdles facing fintech companies. That's an exclusive. Hexaware Tech returns to the Lal Street on a firm footing. Shares list at a 5% premium to the IPO price. The billion-dollar IPO was subscribed nearly 3 times. Tata Digital is looking to raise $300 million for its online pharmacy Tata 1mg. Sources say funds will be used to ramp up offline presence and faster deliveries. That's an exclusive. Salary hikes this year are likely to be the lowest in 3 years. A survey by Aon predicts a modest 9.2% increase across sectors. Also says that the automobile and engineering design sectors could see double-digit increments. Well, let's begin by taking a look at the day's market action. It was volatile once again. The Sensex and the Nifty ended, however, with marginal losses. Again, as we said, a volatile day of trade. But financial stocks, along with mid-caps and small-caps, bucked the downtrend. The Nifty Bank Index was up 1%. The mid-cap and the small-cap index fared even better. The FII's and the FPI's net sold equities worth over 1,880 crore rupees, while domestic institutional investors net bought equities worth 1,957 crores. Speaking of the markets, the gold prices fell as investors booked profits following after the yellow metals' recent record-breaking bull run. Safe haven demand also eased and talks between the US and Russia to pause the conflict in Ukraine. Now on to the energy markets, where crude oil prices edged higher. This after oil flows through the Caspian Pipeline Consortium were reduced by 30 to 40%. Disruptions in US oil supply owing to cold weather conditions also weighed in on the prices. Well, here's the big story, the big trigger. US President Donald Trump says that it's unfair to expect Tesla's Elon Musk to build a factory in India to avoid Indian tariffs. He also reiterated the threat of reciprocal tariffs. US broadcaster Fox News conducted a joint interview of Donald Trump and close aide and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Trump said that he told the Prime Minister that US will charge whatever India charges. Trump claimed that India charges the highest tariffs in the world and that the import duty is 100% for cars. Trump said, and I quote here, "It's impossible to sell a car practically in, as an example, India." End of quote. Sources, meanwhile, tell CNBC-TV18 that Tesla is planning to start sales in India from April and has already zeroed in on 2 locations. One is Delhi's AeroCity and the other is Mumbai's BKC. Tesla, however, is yet to commit to make in India yet. It is likely to source components, however, worth $1 billion in 2025 alone. And well, for more on that, Parikshit Luthra now joins us with more details. Parikshit, Elon Musk yet to make up his mind about coming to India, about manufacturing here in India. Why is that? And also, is Tesla ready to take on the competition in the EV space?
The world's most popular electric car maker, Tesla, could begin sales in India in 2025 and as early as April this year. The company is considering launching a low-cost electric car in the country. Currently, Tesla's entry-level model costs around $29,000 and Tesla is likely to launch a more affordable electric car at $25,000 or less in America and global markets. Now, as per the current tariff structure in India, the duties on fully built cars is 70% for cars costing up to $40,000, which means if the affordable Tesla EV costs around $25,000 or 22 lakh rupees, then if it is launched in India with 70% tariffs, the cost would be around 37 or 39 lakh rupees. Sources say Tesla could import cars from its Berlin plant and sell them in India via company-owned showrooms in Mumbai and Delhi. CNBC-TV18 has learned that Tesla has already identified showroom locations in BKC, in Mumbai and AeroCity in Delhi. US industry sources believe that by April, India would further reduce automobile tariffs due to the threat of reciprocal duties from Donald Trump. The company continues to consider options, including manufacturing in India, but considering the dip in Tesla sales in 2024 globally and steep decline in Europe's sales in January this year, Tesla may initially want to just begin retail operations. Just for context, total electric car sales in India in 2024 were around 100,000 units. Tata Motors was the biggest player with over 61,000 units sold of cars costing under 22 lakh rupees. JSW, MG Motor, M&M, BYD, Stellantis were other players selling EVs at a price point of under 30 lakh rupees. 95% of total electric car sales on 94,000 units were for cars costing less than 25 lakhs. The EV market at over 35 lakhs price point is small, with BMW, Mercedes, Hyundai, Volvo and Kia being the major players, and this market was just 3,700 strong, or 3.7% of the total electric car market. Tesla can apply for the scheme for promotion of manufacturing of electric cars and avail of lower duties of 15%. But can they make a manufacturing commitment of rupees 4,300 crore and also commit to a condition that they will have rupees 7,500 crore in sales by 5th year of operations? Those associated with Tesla say there has to be a business case for the company to make in India and export. They already have plants in Germany, US and China, and Tesla has invested $5 billion in Germany in 2022. So Tesla will have to weigh its business case and profitability before hitting the Make in India button. As per Indian industry estimates, if Tesla brings a car at rupees 39 lakhs, including tariffs, then initial sales could be 10,000 units per year. And if they bring a car at rupees 49 lakhs, including tariffs, then the sales could be roughly 5,000 units per year.
Right, Parikshit, thanks a lot for that. Now, US President Donald Trump's tariff threats continue. This time, he wants to impose tariffs of 25% on automobiles, semiconductor and pharmaceutical imports. Trump said that he will most likely make the announcement on auto tariffs on April 2nd. Now, Indian pharma stocks, including Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, Lupin, Zydus and Cipla, slumped in today's trade. The projected tariffs will hurt Indian drug makers who sell over 38% of their exports in the United States. India currently imposes a 10% import duty on US medicines. If Trump imposes a 10% duty on India's exports, Nomura says it could erode FY26 earnings estimates of some of these companies by 6.5%. Granules, Gland Pharma and DRL have the highest exposure to the United States, with the country accounting for over 50% of their revenues. Here's more on Trump's latest tariff salvo.
Donald Trump has played his next move on tariffs. The US president said Tuesday that he would impose levies of about 25% on imported cars and similar duties on drugs and chips. Trump says his action on tariffs is already producing results.
I do want to say while I'm up here, I've been contacted by some of the biggest companies in the world. And because of what we're doing economically and through tariffs and taxes and incentives, they want to come back into the United States. And we'll be announcing various very large companies, the biggest actually, and they'll be coming back, having to do with chips and having to do also with cars.
Trump also said more details on the auto tariffs would come on April 2nd, a day after cabinet members are due to report to him on options for new measures. He has long complained about what he sees as unfair treatment of US automotive exports. The EU, for example, imposes a 10% levy on vehicle imports, or 4 times the duty imposed by the US. However, Washington collects a 25% tariff on most imported pickup trucks, protecting a lucrative part of the market for domestic makers like Ford and Chevrolet. Trump says tariffs on drugs and chips will also start at 25% or above, and then go substantially higher over the course of the year. He didn't set a date for starting those levies, saying he wants to give pharmaceutical and tech firms time to set up US factories. Since his inauguration a month ago, Trump has stacked an extra 10% tariff on all imports from China. He's also set a March 12th start date for tariffs on imports of steel and aluminum. And while he has postponed measures targeting Mexico and Canada, he's also told his team to draw up reciprocal tariffs matching those imposed by all trading partners.
Now, United States securities market regulator has reportedly sought help from the Indian government in its probe against Gautam Adani and his nephew, Sagar Adani. This investigation is pertaining to the alleged securities fraud and $265 million bribery scheme. A report by Reuters has suggested that the SEC said that both Adani and his nephew are located in India, and hence it requires the assistance from the Indian government. Now, Bharti Enterprises will use proceeds from the sale of shares in Bharti Airtel yesterday to refinance its acquisition of British Telecom. Remember, Bharti Enterprises acquired 24.5% stake in the UK-based group through a combination of cash and debt in August of last year. Sources say that Bharti Enterprises promoters will use these proceeds from the 8,500 crore rupee block deal to reduce this debt. Now, on to the insurance space. The insurance regulator, IRDAI, has formed a 7-member committee which will recommend amendments to the Insurance Act. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 that the committee would be led by former SBI chairperson Dinesh Khara. Yash joins us now with more details. Yash.
Well, it's the same story repeating yet again. Just when you think that the Insurance Act amendment is very close to the stage of parliamentary approval, there's something which comes in the way, indicating a further delay into it. The same things happened this time around as well. Just when the industry was expecting this Insurance Act amendment to be taken up as early as the next parliament session, the insurance regulator has made a new committee of about 7 members, which will be tasked with the responsibility of giving their independent views and suggestions on everything that follows under the Insurance Act amendment. Now, the reason, as we understand from sources, for this new committee is that this committee will have representations from various other financial services, legal sectors to give a view in terms of what will be the impact of the amendment in the Insurance Act on other sectors as well as with the insurance sector. As I said, 7-member committee headed by former SBI chairperson Dinesh Khara. It will have representations from NS Kannan, the former MD and CEO of ICICI Prudential Life, Girish Radhakrishnan, the former CMD of United India Insurance, Rakesh Joshi, former member IRDAI, Saurabh Sinha, former ED RBI, Alok Mishra, MD and CEO MFIN, and finally L. Vishwanathan, who's a legal expert. So, of course, views coming in from all sectors around the corner. As far as the committee is concerned, they're expected to submit their views in the next 2 to 3 months. That would be to the insurance regulator IRDAI, post which IRDAI will take those views to Department of Financial Services, and depending on whether the views coming from the committee are very different from what came earlier, the DFS or the Department of Financial Services could choose to issue a new consultation paper on the Insurance Act amendment. But if the views are not very different, they could also choose to retain the points under the Insurance Act amendment where a consensus has been formed from the committee, and omit or remove the points where a consensus could not be formed.
Thanks so much for that update, Yash. Now, moving ahead, Hexaware Tech has returned to the Lal Street after it was delisted in September of 2020. The IT services major shares listed at a 5% premium to the IPO price. The stock closed with gains of 8%. The billion-dollar IPO was subscribed nearly 3 times. Hexaware's public issue is the largest in India's IT services sector since Tata Consultancy Services' 4,700 crore rupee IPO, and that was over 2 decades ago. On to a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. The MobiKwik top brass feels that Indian regulations in the fintech sector can become like a big black box for investors. Speaking to Shireen Bhan, co-founder Bipinpreet Singh said that India hasn't even scratched the surface in terms of becoming truly financially inclusive. Meanwhile, co-founder Upasana Taku also revealed that they had to defend the Indian fintech sector first and then the company during the IPO roadshows. Take a look.
You know, when you're sitting here in Delhi or Bombay and we are passing regulations and or taking action, we think positive and negative, we don't realize that the people who look at companies like us, whether it is private or public, how they think about these decisions and what they understand and comprehend, because it becomes like a pretty big black box where the clear conclusion for a lot of people is maybe the regulators and the government don't want fintech.
Which they've clarified, to try and send out the message that no, that's not the case. That
but
we do
the
want
actions
to support
that take place, actions that take place actually point to the contrary, right? For many of them, and then it's hard to justify that actions are against certain entities only, and it's not against a particular sector. But the media blow up that results from that. See, somebody sitting in Singapore, I met, a very, very big Swiss bank. We were talking to them earlier in our roadshow. I spent 1 hour with that analyst, a very well-respected analyst, just discussing what does the regulator want. And it was not about MobiKwik. He didn't spend 1 minute on MobiKwik. And I had to educate him, saying that this is what is happening. It's because I think there is a gap in the communication, and that gap, has to be closed. Because fintech as a sector, I still see as a sunrise sector, but with this kind of environment now, if you see who is investing in fintech, whether it is private companies, is not the preferred sector for investment. But India needs billions of dollars in investment in fintech to make the dream of truly inclusive finance happen in India.
I want to tell you that we met many 1,800 investors in our roadshow in October, November last year. Typically, all these meetings are 1 to 1.5 hours. In most of these meetings, first we were defending the sector, Fintech India. Then we are defending, our segments of business within that. And then we are defending our own numbers and our competitive niche.
We are very, very bullish on MobiKwik, on what we can build and what we are building today. Because just I was discussing before our conversation, is that the opportunity of digitization in finance, what have we done and achieved in India? It is nothing. It is not even single-digit percentage. Whether you talk about UPI, whether you talk about wallets, whether you talk about stock market investing, whether you talk about digital lending, it's all in single-digit percentage penetration, whether you talk about insurance. So all we have to do is keep building it, but keep building it the way we have done in the past, which is keep costs under control, be efficient, and now, like we were discussing, now with AI in the mix, you can be super efficient in terms of how you build your business. So I think the platform and the foundation is there.
Now, Tata Digital is looking to raise $300 million for its online pharma, Tata 1mg. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 that the funds will be used to ramp up offline presence and faster deliveries. Rachna Dhanrajani is joining us now with more details. Rachna.
Well, we are picking up an exclusive on Tata Digital's latest fundraising plans. Sources have told CNBC-TV18 that Tata Digital is looking to raise $300 million for its digital health platform, that is Tata 1mg, as they are looking to expand its operations. Now, the focus is on strengthening Tata 1mg's omni-channel strategy with an emphasis on offline expansion and quicker deliveries. Currently, Tata 1mg delivers within 4 to 5 hours in select locations, and that's primarily in Delhi NCR, and also offers an express delivery option for certain products within 30 minutes. We also understand that Citibank has been roped in to manage this fundraise. Tata Digital holds about a majority, that's about 63% stake in Tata 1mg, and Tata 1mg has previously secured investments from major firms like Sequoia Capital, Intel Capital, Omidyar Network, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The company was last valued at $1.25 billion in 2022, and this fresh funding is expected to strengthen its position in the digital healthcare space amid growing competition. Now, CNBC-TV18 has reached out to Tata 1MG for a response, and we will update you as soon as we hear from them. Back to you.
Right, Rachna, thanks a lot. An important developing story there, important updates there by Rachna. Thanks a lot for that. Now, moving ahead, appraisal time is around the corner. And if I were you, we would sum up the Aon survey by saying you should not get your hopes up too high. The survey reveals that salaries on an average will increase by around 9.2% this year. That's a marginal decline from last year. The survey analyzed data from over 1,400 companies across 45 industries. The survey also highlighted that the auto and engineering design sectors are likely to receive the largest hike of more than 10%. Tech services sector will see the lowest hike of 7.7%. And lastly, India's attrition rate declined in 2024 to 17.7% from 18.3% in 2023. And with that, coming up on India Business Hour, the Tamil Nadu government led by DMK is opposing the union government's three-language formula proposed in the new national education policy. A special report in just a bit. And you can also catch all CNBC TV18's news and updates on Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, and Jio Hotstar. You are watching India Business Hour. Now, a top Hamas spokesperson has proposed releasing the remaining 6 Israeli hostages in one go and return the bodies of 4 others in exchange for Palestinian prisoners and a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. However, he rejected Israel's call for Hamas disarmament and its removal from the enclave. Well, after leaving out Ukrainians from the first US talks with Russia on ending the war, President Donald Trump has indicated that Ukraine was to blame for starting this conflict. Trump said that Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky could have made a deal earlier. Trump also said that he's confident of a peace deal, added that Russia wants to stop what he referred to as savage barbarianism. He also suggested that it was time for elections in Ukraine. Zelensky, meanwhile, has responded to Trump blaming Ukraine for the Russian invasion. He has said that the US president is living in a disinformation bubble and added that any attempt to replace him will not work. Karnataka Chief Minister Sitaramaiah gets a clean sheet in the Mysore Urban Development Authority site allotment case. The Lokayukta police has said that the charges against him and his wife could not be substantiated due to the lack of evidence. Anti-corruption activists had alleged irregularities in the process of allotment of land to Sitaramaiah's wife, Parvati. Dinesh Khara has taken charge as the 26th Chief Election Commissioner. In his first address, Khara said that the first step for nation building is to vote. Khara's swearing in comes in at a time when the opposition demanded a delay in the selection process till the Supreme Court reviews the petition that questions that appointment process. Now, Tamil Nadu government, led by the DMK, is opposing the union government's three-language formula proposed in the new national education policy. Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan warned that the state, saying that central funds will not be released if it does not adopt the three-language formula. DMK is terming the policy as an unfair imposition of Hindi on the state. Jude Sanith decodes how the latest skirmish between the BJP-led union government and the DMK could snowball into a full-blown election issue.
What you see here are thousands of DMK party workers and their allies taking out a protest march and staging demonstrations against comments made by Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, who said that education funds under the Samagra Shiksha scheme would be withheld for Tamil Nadu until and unless the state accepts and ratifies the centre's national education policy. The state of Tamil Nadu has been opposed to the national education policy simply on account of the policy's endorsement of the three-language formula. Incidentally, Tamil Nadu has been historically opposed to the three-language formula itself, claiming that it is one of the centre's more insidious ways of imposing Hindi on non-Hindi speaking states.
There is no imposition of any Hindi or any language on them. Some friends in Tamil Nadu are doing politics, but certainly Government of India is committed to implement NEP, and there are certain conditions with NEP.
In a nutshell, the three-language formula calls on all school students to learn 3 languages in the course of their schooling: English and 2 other Indian languages of their choice. Tamil Nadu's problem with this formula or this approach is simply the fact that while one of these Indian languages is likely to be the local or the regional language, the other one almost always ends up being Hindi by default. This, they say, is simply unacceptable.
From the time of Chief Minister Annadurai and Karunanidhi in 1963, Tamil Nadu has always followed the 2-language formula and has taught Tamil and English. We aren't against anyone studying Hindi. Anyone who wants to study the language is free to do it. Don't impose it on us. That is our only demand.
In fact, Tamil Nadu has historically endorsed and followed the 2-language formula, where school students in the state are taught Tamil and English, with the state government's official stance being that learning Hindi isn't exactly a decision that could make or break a student's career. The state's anti-Hindi movement is rather well known, given the fact that landmark protests against the alleged imposition of the language have taken place in Tamil Nadu in the 1930s and 1960s. The question now is whether or not Tamil Nadu will accept and ratify the centre's national education policy, even as the politics surrounding this is likely to play out for the foreseeable future.
Well, that's all the time that we have. It's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you so much for watching. The news and updates will continue right here on CNBC TV 18.